Send me data. View on YouTube. All right, there we go. All right, new link.
Okay. Send this out.
I'll send it in TradeBeacon.
Just make sure to let them know to press fast forward.
Yeah.
To catch up to live. It might be delayed otherwise. I wonder how much. Oh, okay. So this is how I should see how much delay there is through the YouTube link. Oh shit. That's like super delayed. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think the delay's too bad. Might be a second or so.
We'll just have to see how it goes. All right. There's 7 people watching now. Hey guys, if you are just tuning in, this is our day 1 of doing a live stream to see how this goes. StanzieBenz, obviously, me, DoubleDips. We'll just look at charts. We'll maybe talk through some trades. If you guys have questions about any particular markets or tickers or anything, please just throw them in the chat. But yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Yep. CPI came in cold, as expected. We rejected the 565 zone, and then we kind of bounced up to retest this 563 area, which we're rejecting so far. So in order to get bullish, I want to at least get above this 563 area and then long a retest. If we do dip down, then I would look to attempt a long at the 559 if I start seeing a bounce there with a stop below the zone. And it's CPI, so any intraday trading, I would just size down. They're going to whip this both ways to make money off of you, so just be careful.
How do you typically trade a CPI day?
I normally don't trade on CPI day, but we're streaming, so I'm not going to force any trades. If I see something obvious, I'll just take it with a really low size. Yeah.
For anyone that's on here that is not in either one of the Discords, Stanzie has a private Discord where he shares his thoughts and musings and everything on the market, as well as live trades during the day. And TradeBeacon is a Discord where we have 8 trading beat indicators, as well as a ton of channels in our Discord for allowing people to kind of trade themselves and teach people how to fish. So part of what I want to do ultimately is kind of go through our indicator set and kind of show you as the day goes on how you would trade with what we've created, and show you kind of like how I trade as well. So
yeah, DoubleDips. I know a lot of you trade prop. So DoubleDips does only prop. Well, he does have a real account too, but his intraday stuff is all on prop. So he can definitely give some pretty good pointers for trading prop. I trade prop a little bit on the side, but it's not like my primary trading platform. I'd rather just trade my live account, but it's good income on the side. I've been waiting on a payout now for like over a week, so I just have not taken another trade on there. Once that hits, then I'll go back to trading a little bit of prop on the side too.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's great about prop is it removes that hesitation. If there's a super good setup, but you're just kind of hesitating from not wanting to lose your own money. I think that there's definitely some issues with just treating it like it's monopoly money, because you can blow a lot of fees and stuff, which I don't think is a good idea. But yeah, for people who don't have money, who don't have tens of thousands of dollars in an investment account, prop can be a serious tool for building your own real account.
I just wanted to say on the stream for the people who are joining, press the go to the little cog on the bottom of your YouTube window and set the speed to 2x until it catches up to live, or you're going to be delayed. That should kind of fast forward the stream for a little bit, and then you're going to be pretty close to live. It might be like half-second delay.
Here, I can just show them. Let's do screen share. Let's do this one. Doesn't work. All right, so what he was saying is you click settings and then click playback speed, go to 2 until it kind of like fast forwards itself. This is what you should be doing too if you're watching any of the FOMC stuff, or like a Trump talking. Like a lot of the times you'll see the market doing things and it doesn't align with what's going on the screen. It's because like you're a little bit delayed. So when we're watching FOMC, I'm always constantly clicking this and clicking playback speed to get 2, where it just goes and then it'll stop, and then Powell starts talking normally, and you're just constantly playing that game. The goal here isn't, we're not going to be doing like a ton of, live trading where you need to be following us within, 0.2 seconds or whatever, but obviously you don't want to be super delayed. That's not fun for anybody.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out we do have an hourly bearish divergence right now developing. There's 30 minutes on the candle. These divergences don't always do anything. They don't always work out, but the hourly ones, at least I do pay attention to. If it sticks on an hourly close, then I would just expect at least a little bit of follow through on the next candle. So just pointing that out. I would let at least 30 minutes pass into the open before doing anything.
This is just kind of want to show this real quick. So this is the 5-minute on MNQ, on TrendBot specifically, basically. So if you look yesterday, we ripped into 3 o'clock and then we died. So pretty much all night we were kind of up and down sideways, and at 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is crazy if you ever watch that. But what I'm constantly doing is I'm waiting for an increase in volume, which you can see from 3 to 4, and I pretty much only long. So when we ultimately cross up, this background changes green and we're just on an uptrend. So that would be, my entry would be a pullback and bounce ultimately. And you can see these candles turn blue. It's one of our indicators called turbo mode. It's basically when multiple time frames are all aligning in the same way. And once that turned blue, it kind of was all she wrote. But we opened a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm waiting 30 minutes for even attempting anything. Unless we get above that zone, then I might longer retest.
But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, if you want to ask anything, want to look at any tickers, feel free to get in that chat. But we're just going to be kind of hanging out, looking.
So I'd said this in my Discord. If you're bullish, you want to see the yield continue higher, despite the colder CPI, because right now the market's basically expecting a very weak economy going forward, especially under Trump with all the cuts that he's trying to do with Elon. You want to see the yield, in my opinion, get back above 4.39, 4.4. And I think if that happens, it's going to continue much higher, and so will the equity markets. At some point, the correlation is going to flip back to negative once there's enough confidence in the economy. I expect 4.5 to get tapped before that happens. But in the current kind of economic landscape, you want the yield to get back above 4.4, 4.39. So that's just something to watch if you're looking to kind of get more risk on in like a medium or longer term time frame. I would set some alerts above this zone that I have here. Retesting that upper resistance soon. You want to see a reclaim and retest of this, in my opinion, to go attempt a long. This would be the entry. Short would just be an entry here. And for either entries, I would stop out on the other side of the zone.
Put on some fun music. This platform's super cool. I like this.
Yeah, we can have other people on here. I know Epsilon's likes to stream if he ever wants to join, because we're using this thing called Restream where other people can join in and share their screen.
Can we just have just one bounce day, an actual bottom day? That'd be wonderful.
And if you guys want to ask anything, ask it in the YouTube chat, because we're watching that.
Music is bumping. So how do you when you're actually trading, like what do you look for? Like how do you know what to trade? I mean, are you constantly flipping back and forth between SPY, QQQ, futures? Like for new traders, it can be confusing and kind of like jumping around.
During regular trading hours, I try to stick to SPY and QQQ zones, just because those are drawn using only high volume times. So they tend to work better, in my opinion, if you're drawing your levels properly. So yeah, I just since I've been so bullish biased, I have not taken a lot of puts. I probably should take more puts, but basically I try to long zone retests and bounces. I also do keep turbo on my screen. So if you see this green line at the bottom, this will kind of hint towards a bullish momentum. So once you see that going, it should give some extra confidence to go long. Another thing I look for are high level extensions. So if I go on the hourly and let's put on TrendBot, and I'll go on ES for this one.
Corey says, "I guess we'll never see the Stanzie face reveal. Maybe one day.
One day.
One day.
Okay,
I'm sure your face is
loading. I'm gonna get rid of the zones for a second. So on this, the hourly trend is flipping to bullish, by the way, which is a good sign too. So these ATR bounces are what I'm talking about. If you see, I'm also going to turn off turbo for a little bit. Turbo, you should, in my opinion, only use it on the 3 and 5 minute charts. Otherwise, it just looks too messy. So whenever these bands get hit, which are custom bands that I coded, it just shows that price has extended a bit too much. Now, that does not mean it's going to have to bounce just because it's extended. If price is extended, it can always get more extended. But from a risk reward perspective, it's worth a shot, in my opinion, especially to the long side if the overall trend is bullish. Right now, it's not that bullish. So like, boom, like if this was to get hit, I would attempt a long, whether it's with calls or if you can do futures, just use tighter stops. With calls, kind of put in what you're willing to lose. In my opinion, that's how it should be traded. And then same thing for the upper. On a downtrend, it's probably better to short upside extensions. So we actually haven't gotten that in a while, mostly just downside extensions. So that's another thing that I use for entries. And yeah, lately that's the primary things I've been doing, just zones, turbo, and extensions, at least for the intraday stuff. On the higher time frame, I've given my levels. I think to really get bullish in this market, you need all the way back above. Let me put the zones back. You need all the way back above this 5,800 level, all the way up here, 5,803 technically. Until then, there's a lot of work to do. I do have a bullish bias, but from a price action perspective, it's not bullish yet. We're still in this downward channel. So at the least, you want the hourly to close above this black line, and then get above 5,700. Once you're above that, you should still technically wait if you're kind of looking for a time to go heavy long for like a longer term time frame. Just wait till we get back above 5,803 on a daily close, and then I think bulls are pretty safe at that point.
And Sam wants to know, how long have you both been trading?
So I started investing basically right out of college, and I'm 32 now, so it's been a while. For day trading, I basically started in 2018, 2019-ish. Like, by day trading, I mean like full on, really focused on the markets every single day and trying to scalp. And it took off in 2020. And right before that, I'd quit my job to basically focus just on trading. So I guess if you want to say full-time, just day trading, it's been, 6 years now? Almost 6 years. But investing and watching the markets for much longer than that, basically out of college. I have a major in computer science as well as finance. So I've always been interested in the markets. And then DoubleDips.
Trying to remember. So I started trading in December of 2020. I saw an Instagram, I saw like an Instagram influencer guy, Kevin from TCX or whatever the hell that place was called. And it was very like, standing in front of the Lambo kind of thing, trade options, like learn my thing. So I paid, I don't know how much I paid, but a couple $100 probably, paid for some horrible video series where they were just mumbling through the whole thing. And his big thing was like crossing over stochastics and whatever the heck ever, VWAP and stochastics or whatever. Like that was his secret sauce. And yeah, I wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of money trading options. I was in the GameStop thing. I was the guy in the movie that didn't sell. I was thought that it was going to go to $1,000 is not a meme. I thought that that's what was going to happen. And through that, I bounced around a bunch of Discords, ultimately met Stanzie in another Discord. We became friends. Now we're best friends. I'm going to his wedding this summer, which should be fun. And yeah, I've been trading for 4 years. Found relative success in the last 6 months from really concentrating on prop. The biggest thing for me is I'm not a career investor. I don't have money to be, I don't have money. So with prop, it seemed like it was kind of a made up thing that couldn't work. And I started really concentrating on it with Top Step specifically. And yeah, I mean, I like to think that I've become a lot better of a trader because of the fact that I've just taken so many trades in the last year. I mean, that's, while obviously there's a lot of money wasted on evaluations and PAs and stuff like that, just from the sheer amount of trades, I do like that it's sort of a happy medium between paper trading and real trading. So yeah, I think last year I took $20,000 of payouts in like the last couple months, which for me was a big deal. And yeah, I've just been concentrating on MNQ and NQ, just using our indicators, trying to find an edge with larger time frames. I'm more of like a mean reversion kind of person. So like as a larger time frame, a 1 hour is kind of swinging over, it becomes less important to have a better entry on a smaller time frame. And especially with prop, as long as you don't oversize, it's kind of a cheat code for just never blowing up your account. But yeah, so 4 years.
I was looking for the 5620 ES retest for a potential bounce play, but I need to see how this candle closes on the next 15 minute, basically by 10 a.m.
Can you break down the correlation of yield to market overall?
Yeah, overall. So the correlation flips a lot. There's many reasons for the flip. No, you can never really point out why it's positive or negative at a specific time. I think currently it's positive because the market participants are worried about the economy, basically about economic slowdown going forward. So I talked about this earlier. You want to see yield going up right now, in my opinion. Like from a zoomed out perspective, you want to see yield going up if you want the market going up. In a normal environment, it's usually negative. At least that's what I've seen. Bonds have tend to go up with markets, with equities. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Basically, if you're looking for a way to figure out what the correlation is at any specific time, there's no way to predict it, in my opinion. You can kind of get an idea once it's established, and then, yeah, set levels on yield and basically look for it to cross above certain levels to kind of give you more confidence to be long in the market or short. Yeah, 5620 retest holding. If it wasn't CPI, I wouldn't be waiting this long. I would have probably taken a stab at calls here. If you're using a stop, I would basically stop all the way back below 5600. I'm gonna wait till 10 a.m. though, like I had said. I'm not
So how do you, if you're looking at a level on one, like somebody asked what's 5803 on SPY, are you kind of just looking at similar candle patterns, or is just kind of
No. So these levels are where you've seen major price moves in the past. So it's where sellers and buyers are going to be sitting. In this case, it'll be sellers because the price is below that level. But yeah, it should map to around 580.4, between 580.4 and 579.96. This is a very major level. Let me go in the hourly. So this 580, once this was basically the bounce where we bounced on March 3rd. I think once we've cleared this 585 level actually will not be that hard to clear. I think most of the sellers here have moved down into this area. Technically, if you want to be super safe, you want to get price above 586.3, but I'd think that once we're above 580.4, it should, in my opinion, be safe to long, like with higher size for the medium and longer term. And I do not think this 585 level will be that hard to clear. And it'll also fix structure, in my opinion. Trends on the hourly, and I think even the daily are going to start to change. And yeah, it should map to about 5,800 ES currently.
Do you guys feel confident now that you're able to make a consistent living up trading? Not since November.
Yeah, I do intraday stuff basically every day. I don't send all of it, just because some of it's pretty quick. Some of it I don't feel confident sending, especially with Trump in office. But I feel fine. Like, yeah, obviously my longer term portfolio is not doing too well since, I don't know, the past month or so, past 3-4 weeks. But yeah, I've made most of the money I've had through trading and investing. So I'm confident in myself that I'll continue to make money doing this. All right, so we're retesting the 558, 559 level now. Glad that I'm waiting. Like, they're gonna whip this around, in my opinion, for the whole morning.
Do you think that it's less stressful if you have
if you're not as risk averse as me? This is, in my opinion, a good spot to take a knife stab long. If you do it with futures, you can stop out on a 10-minute close below 558.89. If you do options, I would just, and you don't want to use a stop, then just put in what you're willing to lose on some 0 GTE and see what happens. What'd you say? You're asking me a question?
Oh, yeah. I was just saying, do you think that it's less stressful if you do have some other job or money coming in versus a lot of people think that just, like, if only I had time, if I just had the time, I could just be a full-time trader. It'd be so much easier if I just
I think that's just human nature. You're going to feel, for 99% of people, you're going to feel better if you have some other source of income, just because in your mind, you're going to feel like I have something to fall back on. If God forbid I lose my whole account or something horrible happens, at least I have this. I think that's human nature. But I think after a certain point, you kind of get some sort of confidence in yourself where I don't care. Like, I know I'll be fine. I've traded through some pretty crazy times. I'll figure it out. But yeah, there's always going to be that feeling of a little bit of extra safety if you have some other income coming in. And I think prop's a good way to do that because you limit your risk and you can really create some income on the side. And in my opinion, prop is all about sizing. That's where everyone screws up. They want to make too much every day. Yeah. It's more so about just make a few $100 a day, call it good, lock your account. It's more so about consistency versus trying to make as much as possible.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's really hard to blow up on prop if you do it properly. They just know that 99% of people won't do that. That's why they make so much money, because most people can't trade, and the reason most people can't trade is because they can't size. That's it. It's all about risk management, and you can risk manage with stops or by sizing or both. And most people don't know how to do either of those things.
I mean, if I would, of all the times I've been like, I need to go faster. If I would have, I don't have time to wait around for a month to, hit $6,000 or something. Meanwhile, 3 months go by, and I'm like, damn, if I just been doing $200 a day.
Yeah. If you had taken a longer trim a little bit, I would be targeting 561.5 reclaim. And at this point, you could probably move your stop either down. You can keep it below the zone, or you can move it to your entry point, depending on your risk tolerance. I didn't take anything. I'm still waiting on 10 a.m.
For the newer traders, what do you recommend to help create a strong trading foundation? There's so many books and videos and courses. It's easy to get lost in the information.
No, there's definitely some resources. I guess I can post them. I can send them in my Discord. Whoa, what was that? Holy shit. Some news come out? Or is that just CPI stuff? Yeah, I would be in runners by now if you took that long. And I would have stops on the runners at break even or even in profit. I don't know what that was, though. Yeah. I don't know if that was news driven or... so going back to the question, there's some resources that I would recommend. I have a list of resources that I've compiled for friends. I can post those in my Discord. But beyond that, like once you have the basics down, and honestly, it's about getting your feet wet and kind of going through the shit. Like you're gonna go through a period of complete shit where you're gonna suck, and you're gonna learn from it. Most people will just quit after that, but if you can learn from that, if you can learn to control your emotions, learn to size properly so that you don't get in that scenario again, all these little lessons you're going to just learn by just kind of going through it, and it can take years. But in my opinion, if most people truly just stick to it and really fix those things, I think there should be more profitable traders than there currently are. It just goes back to risk management through sizing and stop losses or both. That's the most important thing. Really, it's sizing. In my opinion, that's really the number one reason people fuck up. They just size too big because they want too much.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that we created TradeBeacon in general was to try to teach people how to trade on their own, because we didn't want to be trading forever and wanted to be able to leave for a week and come back and people go, hey man, while you were gone, I was just kicking ass using your indicator. That was the goal. With TrendBot specifically, let me flip this. So if I could only teach someone one thing in life about trading, would be to just use super big time frames. Like this is obviously using our indicator, but TrendBot just shows you an uptrend and a downtrend just by what's up.
I'll just quickly think. I would not relong this yet. If you're out now, I wouldn't reattempt this right now. Normally after this zone's going to keep getting weaker every retest. I'm not saying it can't bounce here, but if you do, just go really small size and stop below the zone, but I would not relong this retest because it's getting pretty bearish right now. You want to see this hold now, and then if this doesn't hold, might test this lower area, which would be the next spot to attempt along. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. This TrendBot is probably one of the most basic things that you could look at. It's just showing you if we're on an uptrend or downtrend based on just moving average is crossing over. So it's just if price is going up, it's green. If it's going down, it's red, basically. So, I think the biggest thing is people get hung up on super small time frames, and they think that they need to be looking. This is a 1 minute chart, and you get lost in this noise. When really, if you zoom out, it's just a moment in time where ultimately, like, I've been trying to think of an analogy forever, but it would be like if you're taking a flight from New York to Miami or something, and you know that it's going New York to Miami. That's like a daily time frame or a weekly time frame. Like, it's just this big overarching move. But what people are doing, like, let's say the flight from New York to Miami, people are looking at super small time frame, and they're looking at like some guy that's like walking back and forth in an aisle on the airplane as it's flying. It's just like, just bet on the big move. If you know that we're going on an uptrend or a downtrend, buy time. If you're doing options, buy 6 months out, at least a month out. I would say 99.9% of the trades that were not successful for me when on options was because I wasn't buying enough time. They just expired. I had the move right, but I just didn't have enough time. That's why futures is awesome. That was a big move for us, not like prop for me specifically, but doing futures versus options was awesome because it wasn't about picking strikes and worrying about theta and worrying about it dying at the end of the day. It was just more about, hey, I'm going to bet on a move over a large time frame and not worrying so much about a tiny little 1 minute snippet of time inside of this. I think most people just get chopped up because they're on the super small time frame, even 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour. Like, if we're on a daily downtrend, just go short on something that is not expensive and has a ton of time, and you would have been scared during the middle of these days, but ultimately if we went down, that was the point.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
No, that's it. Where in the Discord can I find the resources you posted?
No. So they're on my. I have some resources on my website. I said I will post it in my Discord after the stream. I have a compiled list of stuff to read. I'll post it after the stream in my Discord.
Thanks, Corey.
Okay.
Gotta go to work. Been here since day one. It feels like. Thanks for all you've done.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for supporting. It's looking not too good. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna wait still. I'd like ideally for this zone to hold, but the fact that they're kind of just that bounce was actually, it did test this 561.5, but it rejected really quickly. So I'd like this to hold ideally on the hourly close. It still is not good enough to go long though for me, just because it came back to retest it so quickly. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not gonna force any trades today, just because I'm streaming. Normally I don't even trade today, but I'll keep analyzing, and if something's really looking good, I'll go in. Right now, you just want this to hold on the hourly. In the meantime, I'm gonna look a bit deeper at the CPI data. Yeah, I mean, it looks good to me. There's nothing bearish here. It's trending back down. The lowest, core CPI is lowest since basically 2021, April 2021. Housing inflation's down.
Is it because we don't care about inflation
there's
anymore?
Fear that, in my opinion, there's still fear that the tariff impact is not reflected on there, which it's not. So a lot of companies would have front run tariffs by now by increasing their pricing to customers, and people are scared that that's going to show up on the next prints, which is possible, but I personally don't think these tariffs will be long lived. I feel like they'll be pretty short lived. They're going to get walked back, and we'll be back to a low tariff environment. And the Fed is also going to start easing much sooner than people think, in my opinion. Okay, so the hourly did not break below this zone, which is a good sign. It's not good enough for me to go long here just because we're at the zone. I think the long at the zone was that first test, which kind of gave us a pop to 561.5. So I would just wait right now. But I am open to trades now that it's past 10 a.m. But I'm still just watching.
And we're already back down.
Yep, not holding so far. Get QQQs. Tech's a bit stronger. Still not great though. If I were to go long, it might be better to take a stab at tech, but not now. Yeah, this looks way better compared to SPY for longs. You do have bearish tick right now too. So this red line that you see at the top might be better to watch it on futures. Let it load. This indicates that under the hood, there's more selling versus buying from like a percentage point of view. And normally when you see that, you don't want to long into this. So if we go back in time, I'm not saying it's perfect. Again, these are just indicators. It kind of just gives you a small edge. Like it might put probability a bit more in your favor. It's just one data point. But for example, if you look here, this hourly closed with a bearish tick. That's a sign that there might probably be continuation down. And let's say price is going up and it closes up, but with a bearish tick, I would not long that normally. And you can see the next couple of hourly candles when it dumped. And it holds true most times from what I've seen. Like here. Maybe it didn't hold. You did get 1 hour of continuation after that first bearish tick candle, and then you saw a nice bounce. But yeah, that's something else to keep an eye on if you're using TrendBot is the hourly level tick. If you want to be bullish, you want to see a green highlight at the bottom of the ATR band, which suggests that more stocks are rising compared to falling. Momentum is good, and it will help support along. So at the least, if you see bearish tick, stay flat. Definitely try to avoid longs. Now you see it disappearing and you see it flip to bullish. So you want to see the hourly close with a certain tick. So now we have 53 minutes. So if on this hour there's bullish momentum, bullish tick, that's a good sign for continuation. If this closes up and the tick flips back to bearish, it's probably a sign that the move up will not continue. So if you're using these indicators, those are the stuff that I've highlighted so far is basically what I pay attention to. So just kind of going back over that again, it's the ATR on the hourly, the tick on the hourly, turbo on the 3 and 5 minute, and then my zones. And hourly divergences, but that's not ours. That's a public indicator that anyone can look up, which is like these yellow and blue boxes that you see. And I feel like if you use all those and you truly stick to those, which even I'm guilty, many times I don't even stick to them. I feel like it'll make trading much easier. It'll help visualize things that you won't normally see just looking only at price. So yeah, let's see how this hourly closes again. I'm not going into anything still. Tick is still bearish currently.
You ever mess around with the 15? I feel like the 15-minute is very good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny. I'll enter based off of a higher time frame, and I'm just like, maybe I'll be in drawdown like a little bit to begin with, but they always end up working out because I'm not chasing anything because it's just kind of like I'm letting it breathe.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the higher time frames are very good to keep. Like 15-minute up is really good to watch. For intraday stuff, I do watch 5 and 10 a lot, preferably 10. And then I love the hourly, of course, just because you just get so much more confirmations and bigger moves if you go off the hourly. SPY is still holding that zone, which is good. If I was too long, I would do it on the Qs, though. And I'm getting tempted now, but the hourly is showing bearish tick, so I'm going to still wait. Wow, 24 people watching us. That's crazy to me.
Look at you. Why?
I don't know. We're not even taking any trades right now. I didn't think that many people would be watching us. Okay.
I'm telling you, there's a lot to be said for just talking out stuff. I would watch this. Especially if you showed your face. I think that'll really get the people going.
You see, I don't like this bearish tick. I want this to go away. Like, we're ripping like crazy. We're ripping off that level, off the EMA, hourly EMAs, but I want to see this hourly close and a red bar to not be here.
You guys should do this more often. We might just do it every day.
Yeah, honestly, like, this is probably not the best day to begin this. Yeah, we're giving analysis and stuff, but trading on CPI is always very risky. But yeah, I'm glad we started, and hopefully we can just keep doing this at least a few times a week, maybe every day. I don't know.
It's pretty easy to get set up. I was more worried just about the logistics of it than actually talking.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Be right back.
Let me see you guys. Oh. Let's see how this hourly candle closes. If you're really tempted to go in the trade, let's see how the 30-minute closes at least. If the Qs reclaim this zone and you don't see a bearish tick by then you could attempt a long on a retest of the zone. But based on what I'm seeing right now, it's 50-50. I don't know if that tick is going to stay bearish or not. So I'm going to wait on a whole hour to close probably. Because even though when you see that red tick that I pointed out on the hourly and you see price going up, that's usually not a good sign. It means although price is going up, it's only probably a few stocks that are making the price go up, which usually does not sustain. It shows you that under the hood, most stocks are not happy right now. And usually it leads to rejection on the next candles. So we did see it flipping back and forth, so it's close between bullish and bearish. So we need to basically see what happens. Right now, I think it's only a few stocks that are keeping the market up. Might have missed, if you talked about this, had to step away, but are SMAs or EMAs better to use? I don't think there's like a better or worse for that. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. I use the 9 and 21 EMAs a lot. I like those ones. SMAs work fine. Honestly, it's just to keep track of trend for the most part. It helps you not go against the trend of the market. I don't think it really matters that much which one you use. Let's see the yields. Can you hear me? Say
Hello.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, you're just fucking answering me.
Oh,
You're such a douche.
you
I
mentioned.
was like, blah, 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 blah. You just didn't say anything because I came back and put my headphones on. I'm like, great, now my audio.
How do you guys manage? How do you guys manage your emotions while seeing the crazy volatility in your portfolios?
You manage your emotions. Let me know when you start managing your emotions. That'd be great. I'll write in my diary.
Yeah, I mean, it can be tough. So this kind of goes back to how, like, sizing. Okay, so how much you can be fully allocated, but you can still be at a spot where you're not shitting your pants. And that kind of goes back to how much leverage do you have in your portfolio. Like, I recommend not exceeding like 10% in options. Like if you're doing long-term options in your portfolio, 10-15%, I would not have more than that in your portfolio. Outside of that, it should be like 95% or maybe 90% regular shares, maybe 10%, 10-15% leverage. And that's really pushing it. Like I do that. I'll have 10% in long-term leaps plus another 10-15% in leverage shares. And that's, for most people, I feel like even that's too much. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that much risk. I'm okay sitting through that type of drawdown. But 80, 85, 90% of your portfolio, for most people, just put it in regular shares. Like, and if you do, and you're still sitting your pants, maybe this is not for you. Like you should be able to sit through on like long-term stocks. You should be able to sit through that type of drawdown on regular shares if it's truly like good companies, which you've done research on, which have done well in the past. They're going to come back. On the leverage part, you kind of have to determine that. Like some people they start stressing out on like a 10% drawdown. If you're one of those people, then reduce that leveraged portion to like, I don't know, 5% of your portfolio and have 95% in regular shares. If you're someone who has like 40% of your portfolio in leverage exposure, you're an idiot. Like, I'm sorry for that. You shouldn't do that. Like, that's really risky. It'll lead to a lot of gains in the short term, like when things are going well, but that's kind of like a ticking time bomb. Eventually that's going to come back and bite you. So if you're in that boat right now, if you've over leveraged, look to deleverage soon, maybe even now. Like I know the market's really down and you don't want to take a loss on some of those positions, but what you can do is just deleverage and wait on that 5,800 reclaim where things are looking healthier before adding some leverage back on. And in the moment that might feel tough, but trust me, you'll think yourself like you're gonna, because the market's gonna just fuck around until we get back above there. I do think we're about to bottom, but I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm right just because I think it. I've shared the statistics on why I think we're kind of close to a bottom. That doesn't mean I'm right. Like things can, even though things are extended, they can get more extended. And can you sit through that if you're sitting in 40% leverage? Probably not. Like I wouldn't be able to if I had that much leverage on my account, but I can if I have 10 to 20%. I personally can. I'm like, okay, I'm okay right now. Yeah, I hope that answered your questions. It really comes down to sizing and leverage. If you keep those controlled, you should be able to manage your stress and emotions during these times. If you really find yourself kind of freaking out, maybe that's a bit too high and you need to pull that back. Because you don't want to take rash decisions, right? And that's only going to happen if your emotions are out of check. And that's only going to happen if your sizing's out of check. You always want to kind of have a calm mind when you're making decisions on your portfolio. You don't want to freak out and close everything because, oh my God, I have too much leverage. All right, going back to this. Still holding the zone. We got 40 minutes on this hourly.
I'll always flip over and look at NQ and be like, oh yeah, that's why zone vault exists. Perfectly hit that zone. So this zone came from zone vault, which is one of the TradeBeacon indicators, and the zones are input from StanzieBenz himself. So there's a page on our Discord where I list out all of these zones, and we update them daily, and you paste them in, and it puts this on your chart, so that if you're looking at any one of the tickers that has the zones inside of it.
NQ's looking pretty good right now. If it wasn't CPI, I would have probably begun longing by now, but I'm gonna wait because tick is like between bearish and bullish. It keeps flipping back, but that goes to show it's not too bearish. Out of long and then stop below. Like I would have done it with calls and stop below if the NQ gets below 19.522. Sorry, 522. And I would be looking for a retest of this high zone, 19.746. Let's see where we are in 40 minutes, 38 minutes. Unless things look really good before then I'll go in, but let's see where we are by then.
We just got a subscriber on YouTube.
Oh, we did? It's our first subscriber?
Our first subscriber. Yeah. Andy McCall. Boom, boom. Oh, Andy. You silly bastard. Yeah, we have not done anything on YouTube, and that's probably dumb. But now we're realizing what we should
do. Yeah. So something to note is that mags, basically the mega caps, they're defending yesterday's high, or sorry, not yesterday. Yeah, yesterday's high. I think that's a good sign personally. They are kind of leading right now. Tech is leading. But so far, despite this rejection, I'm still constructive on the action so far. I would get not so constructive if SPY loses this lower zone. That's pretty bad. Ideally, you want it even above this zone on the hourly close, but you don't want it below this lower 556.29 on the hourly. That kind of tells me that, okay, we might have to go a bit lower.
Would you treat leveraged shares like TQQQ the same as options?
What is that? Like, what do you mean treat it the same?
Like when you were like, hey, you should have 10% in options or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, TQQQ isn't stock. I mean, it's obviously it's not an option, but it's a decaying ETF.
Yeah.
Right?
So going back to what I said, I said I personally have around 10% in long-term leaps. That's kind of the amount I recommend at most. Push it to like 10% at most for long-term leaps. Leaps meaning like a year, 9 months, a year out options. Even longer the better. And then on top of that, I said another 10% in 10 to 15 max in leveraged shares, which is, again, this is like on the high end. Just because this is what I do doesn't mean this is what you should do. For most people, just keep the total at like 10-15% between leaps plus leveraged shares, and then the rest just keep it in regular shares on good companies and indexes. I feel like for 90% of people, that's the way to go, and it'll really keep your emotions in check on downturns. So yeah, if you're someone who has like half your portfolio in leveraged shares, just because they're shares doesn't make it okay. Like those shares are you can't just hold on to it forever and ever, because there's underlying decay in those shares. Those aren't just regular shares.
Lounge.
They're still less risky than Leap, in my opinion. You're going to experience less drawdown and still less profits too, but there's heightened risk in those leverage shares just because of that decay.
I'm just trying all these different music options. Corporate. Oh yeah, I like that. Minimal house.
Let's see if there's any. Is there any other data today?
I can tell you.
Just not really. Just federal budget.
There's a auction at 1.
Okay.
10-year note auction. Those are always fun.
The PPI is tomorrow.
And FOMC is a week from today.
Okay.
Always fun.
Still looking fine to me, NQ. So I'm still waiting 32 minutes. I might take a long at 30 minutes if this closes fine. And again, it's CPI. If anyone new is joining, I'm like, in my opinion, don't even trade today. If you're gonna trade size way down.
But what if there's a trade? What if there's like a super easy trade and you're like, oh man, that was the easiest trade ever?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's just best to sit it out though and try it tomorrow. Or not even, tomorrow. I guess there's PPI tomorrow, which in my opinion is just going to follow CPI.
I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you historically the days where it was that. You're like 99% of the time you're going to be like, why the fuck why was I trading FOMC? But what if it's like me holding during open. Never works out. But what if I'm right? And I'm holding it from open and it just rockets and I'm in long. It's like happens 1 out of 15 times.
Do you ever take trades just on candlesticks? For example, on Tesla. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's getting railed, but maybe Trump is saving it now. Oops. Let me get rid of Star.
Which one?
He said
5 minute.
On the 5 minute at 10:10 EST.
Oh, yes.
10:10. So this big red candle.
No, the evening star is the one at 10:05. It's like the.
Oh, okay, I see.
Cross.
So do I take trades off candlestick patterns? Is basically what he's asking. The main patterns I basically only watch are long wicks on either side. So if I see like a dip down and then it gets eaten up really quick, creating a huge wick at the bottom, in my opinion, especially on higher time frames, that almost always leads to continuation. Besides wicks, I haven't really traded much off candlestick patterns. I'm not saying it's wrong to do so. I just personally haven't, and I don't. I do think wicks matter a lot. If price rejects really quick off a level, creating a tall wick, that's not a good sign and usually leads to continuation down. Same thing for the opposite. Yeah, Tesla's, I mean, it looks horrible, but I have Tesla positioning, by the way, which is getting destroyed long term. But yeah, it's not a good looking chart. And Elon kind of shot himself in the foot with this one, with all the stuff he's doing. His little Nazi salute and putting so much time on.
Hey, he was sending his heart to the crowd.
Yeah, whatever it was.
That has been debunked. No, it's just like, good Lord. He's just all. Do you think if they announced that he was no longer at Tesla, I feel like it would just go to the sky.
I don't know, maybe. There's
or it could go the other way. He's just such a.
There's a lot of fanboys also like who have pumped this stock up, so I don't know what that would do. I actually feel like near term it would cause a drop and then maybe a bounce after that. But yeah, for Tesla, honestly, this thing looks like so much shit. Like you want this all the way back above at least 331. Until then, this is a piece of garbage. Like I'm just kind of holding on right now because it's very long-term stuff. I do think it's pretty oversold down here. Doesn't mean it can continue down lower. But really, you want this all the way back above 331 minimum. Like minimum, you want this above there to even start getting bullish on this.
I think that's a lesson for all, like everything that we talk about is you would be better off to miss the first 10 to 20% of a move, but get the middle 80%.
Yeah. So,
but be sure that it's like the actual moment, because you could have just been every one of these daily red candles just stat. Well, I'm gonna do 6 month options, 6 month average. I don't know, a year out. Like you're better off waiting for all this shit to resolve, for it to come back, it to eventually do something, cross up, come back down, the trend turns green and we bounce. Like that's how it happens. That's how every single long entry happens, no matter whether it's the 1 minute or it's the daily. That is how they all happen. That is that I've been trying to figure out how I can be a successful trader 100% of the time, because when I wait for this type of setup, I am money and I just go in and I know what's going to happen and it goes. But I like to fuck around to this part and fuck around and find out. So like here, same thing. It's just like, do you want to be a hero? Ooh, I bottom ticked the entire daily. It's like, who fucking cares?
Mm-hmm.
Just wait for it to go green and come back down. And long here, and at least you can say, hey, I tried. I longed when it was green. But longing when everything is on a horrible daily downtrend is just such a bad idea.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then, yeah, another, like I said earlier, another way to manage risk is like you can just close it out and wait on the reclaim. Like especially if you're oversized and not willing, like if this went to 200 and you'd be like, I cannot fathom holding this to 200, then just close it and wait. Like as much as it might suck to take that loss and potentially miss out on this move, like this $90-$80 move, it's okay. Like at least at that point, the structure is going to become much more bullish and, in my opinion, continue higher. You can reopen your longs above that level. And this ties back to sizing. Like this would normally only happen if you did not size properly, and if you did size it very high, then you can use some stop losses below key levels and take the loss that way. But if you're like stuck in this position, it's a huge position for you, and your account cannot handle this going to 200, which this totally can go to 200 in my opinion. Just cut it. Wait for trend to get bullish, then go back in.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard Trump wants stocks to go down, so bonds can prop up and we can refinance our debt at a lower rate. Is there any validity to that? I see that everyone's saying that, but it seems like if it's what the actual strategy is, it's definitely not coming from Trump. He's not like this fucking 4D chess genius. Someone else is going, yeah, let's just, who cares about the stock market? Because it is kind of true. Like we're all like trading these 1 minute time frames where it'll probably all recover and we'll just be the ones toasted because we were trying to day trade while shit was just going crazy. Ultimately, the stock market will always come back.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think Trump wants rates lower. That's his primary focus, and he's gonna do whatever he needs to do to get that. He did this in 2018. I honestly didn't think he was gonna rerun that same playbook with his tariff threats, and he kind of forced the Fed's hand in 2018 to start easing and cutting rates and start quantitative easing. So I think that's his primary goal. Like, he's okay with short-term pain in exchange for forcing the Fed's hand, and he's getting it. That's happening. Like, you can look at bonds and see that. You can look at what the market's doing and see that. You can see the rate cut pricing and see that. The likelihood of rates coming down is going up. So he's probably going to get what he wants. I feel like we're going to get more cuts this year than was expected. We're going to get QE quicker than it was expected. I think it'll probably lead to issues down the line, but I think this near-term pain is probably going to lead to like a crazy-ass recovery when it happens due to those things. All right, enough Tesla. I think NQ's did some rejections during this time. Yep. You want to see these EMAs and this zone hold on the hourly on tech. Below this could warrant a short on a retest of this zone.
I don't know if I like this music. Chill. Any progress on the prop trading product?
Prop trade.
Yeah, any progress?
The copy trade?
For like a bot? No, I think he just means a bot.
Oh, like a bot to trade props. I've got one that does entries. Yeah, we're still working on it. I've got one that.
I mean that's the thing. That's the obviously the $1 million idea is this thing that can just trade all the time. Like Voodoo has been great, but like you have to exit, so it's just like I don't know. Maybe there's some room for like a hybrid sort of thing where because it's prop, we're able to exit and we can do whatever we want, and it's just it enters and stops and take profits are just done by you or us or whatever. I mean, for me, it's always been the entry has been the trickiest thing. Missing that, oh man, I didn't see that it did the thing. So it enters, you get a notification, and then it's on you to exit it. But I mean, I'm definitely actively trying to figure something out because I just think that at the end of the day, with one MNQ, there has to be some mean reversion, large time frame strategy where given $2,000 of drawdown that you could enter and always win. There has to be something that's just like 1,000 points on NQ that somewhere on a huge time frame doing some huge thing that you stab and just wait for it to eventually go your way. It just seems like crazy that doesn't exist. I mean, that's the thing with prop. It's just like, can we just make it so that we just use that crazy drawdown and we do just one MNQ or one MES. And if you could make like $100 a day or something on just one contract doing one trade, that's like obviously the holy grail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would do that. I would have that running on my own thing. I don't actually like trading. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, if there was something that was just making money, I would never do this. The prop stuff, it's exhausting. It really is. So we are actively trying to figure something out, because when we launched the copy trading thing, that was supposed to be something that would be successful, and it just proved to be way too stressful for us because we didn't want to blow other people's accounts. Plus, add in the fact that the market has just been so bipolar in the last
it didn't work properly.
No, and it didn't work. I mean, that was the trade sinker. It's funny because I've been on Twitter and I've seen people go, it's interesting, these prop guru type people will always say, oh, I had this today, I like really messed up, my copy trader wasn't working, I blew all my accounts. Well, a lot of people will say is like, you just blame it on the copy trader. Why don't you just say that you sucked at trading? But I saw someone kind of have the same thing where they were like, the lead account exited the contracts, and because the other ones didn't, when she went to flatten and exit all, it basically, you're flattening and exiting all on the main account. And because there was nothing to flatten and exit, it just left it on the other ones, and she blew like 10 accounts. So we were good. We had it working. And then there's one day where at low of day, exactly at 10 a.m. when Voodoo did not do anything and nothing was hooked up, it just shorted 5 contracts.
Yeah.
Exactly at low of day. And it was just like, what the hell is going on? And then that was just, a day where we ended up going down 500 points, and it was just a shit show. But there is something for prop coming, and we will figure it out, because it seems crazy that we can't make that work for us when that is the holy grail, is making money and not stressing about it.
Yeah. Man, a low risk as in your stop can be tight here would be, I guess, how tight would that be? 40 points, not too tight. Pretty tight if you did it via options. It would be like a call here. Stop it below this low, in hopes that the hourly closes above this zone. It might not. I just don't. I would take it if the tick wasn't bearish.
So when the market's done, or you're not trading for the rest of the day, what are you doing?
What am I, if I'm not trading for the rest of the day? I do a little bit of research, depending on the day. And then after that, I'm, if I don't have any.
Do you still go to the gym?
Yeah.
I feel like you
don't I go to the gym every day, 5 days a week. But my workouts aren't, they used to be like, because I don't know if the people have joined, or I used to be, I'm technically a professional bodybuilder. Like, I competed, I got my pro card and everything. Once I got my pro card, I have not competed. But I just haven't taken it as seriously since then. And I still go like 30, 40 minutes, maybe. My workouts are 40 minutes, 5 days a week. Used to be like almost 2 hours, an hour and a half at least, 6 days a week. But yeah, definitely not working out to that extent anymore. Mainly just kind of trying to maintain, stay healthy.
What are each of your best and worst trades ever? What did you do right, wrong?
Worst trade?
I know what Stanzie's worst trade
I already
ever.
know. It's the short from what, 20? How long has it been now? When did we do that big short? Did you do it with me?
I don't know. Yeah, it was the summer of not last summer, the one before.
2023.
So 2003, 2023.
2023, I shorted like since July or something. Basically, like half that rip up of 2023, I shorted futures, and eventually it fell.
It always comes
Came
back.
back in August, but that was definitely my worst trade ever. My best.
What about the Tesla one?
Oh, so if we're going back even beyond,
tell the whole story.
Yeah. Oh, that one. I mean,
about what
so
you had. What you
from
had
the
ready.
amount lost wise, looking at it now, it's not as big, but back then it was a big amount for me. Basically, I did 0 DTE on Tesla. I think it was puts or calls. I forget. I think it was puts. I was betting on it. It was calls.
It was calls.
Okay. And I
can see the chart. I
put
see
like
the chart
an obscene amount in it, like 15, 20 grand, something like that. At that time, that was a lot of money for me. This was like when I was first getting more into options trading. And basically, I lost $10,000 within, I don't know, it felt like minutes, and I just closed it for the loss. And then, of course, it reversed after that, and it would have paid me. But yeah, at that point, that was a huge hit for me, and I was kind of like shook from that and had to take a little break, I think. Yeah, that was bad.
Best trade?
Best trade? Best trade. Does this include swings, or are they talking like intraday?
Sure, just in general.
General, I would say 2020. Riding that rip up with shitload of leaps.
Yeah,
the whole way, pretty much, almost the whole way, and just completely just multiplying my money crazy amount. Yeah, because back then I think I just learned also about liquidity and stuff, and I kind of knew like this market has to go up. So I just loaded a shit ton of leverage, which I don't recommend. Back then I didn't. My account size was also smaller, so I was kind of just.
And you were working.
Yeah, and I was working. No, I quit a little bit after that. So, yeah, like when I first did the trade, I was working, and yeah, I just bought a lot of leaps on QQQ, SPY, Microsoft, all these really good companies, and and things would dip in that too, but I did not care because I knew they would come back up, and I would just wait, and yeah, eventually that paid like a crazy amount.
I'll go. I already said I was up a good amount on. I mean, it was GameStop, AMC, and Best Buy, or BB. I guess I don't even know. I look at pictures. I had like my iPad up with Thinkorswim, and I had like screenshot or pictures of the screen, and I was still in that TCX Discord or whatever. Didn't know Stanzie yet, and I was just there were like 10 positions open, in addition to the GameStop and all the other ones. Just random. I couldn't tell you what these companies did, and I was down, $200, $300, whatever, and then like up like $1 million on GameStop. I was just like, what was I doing? How was I not like locked into like what was happening? And ultimately, I lost it all, and I had to learn how to trade, basically recovering from that, and it's been a wild ride for sure. My wife would say that trading is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I wouldn't disagree with that, but it's unfortunately I am like I can't erase it from my brain. I do miss the days of 9:30 and 4 o'clock having absolutely nothing to do with anything in my life. Just 9:30 coming and going, and I'm just oblivious to anything that's happening. Now it is an addiction. I would say most people that do this are addicted in some capacity. So just trying to figure out how to make that work, and especially with prop. But that's the worst trade. The best trade, I mean, when liquidity was going and we really got into futures, I took like 10 grand.
Actually, yeah, that paid a lot too. I forgot about.
Yeah, I took like my last 10 grand, but basically like, here's 10 grand. This is all I'm ever going to put back into this. Like if I can make this work, then I'm done. And probably the first swing was down like 2 grand. I was like, what the hell? And was up to 25 and was just like, and like in a couple months, I'm like, oh my God, I could have like 50 grand by the end of the year. And then liquidity stopped working. Finished off with 20 grand.
This ties into to my worst trade right after that short that I'm talking about, because the liquidity dumped, but market did not care. It kept going up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that was fun. That was cool to like, the problem with those days was like, you would get these quick wins sometimes, and those are awesome, like an overnight where I'd make $500, which for me was huge. But the worry was that you didn't go ahead.
I just want to butt in. I'm hopping in some 0DT calls, small amount, because this should be a strong support. Keep your sizing really low. But yeah, I'm about to get in some. If you're following, ideally I shouldn't be trading today. But I'm betting on this lower support at least to hold, to give some sort of bounce to retest this zone above.
Yeah. The worry was that we didn't go heavy enough, so we would go heavier, and we probably were each other's worst enemy of sizing in more. I want to add here. I want to add here. Yeah, I'm going to add too.
I did the
but there was
really quick. I did the 557 C's for 2.27. But yeah, go ahead.
When we were doing leaps, that first time you were like convinced me to do a leap, and I bought it like at the top of whenever that was, and averaged down and sold it and made $5 grand. That was like my biggest trade at that time, of just like on options, and it was a year plus out, way deep in the money on QQQ. But like I just had for Top Step, I just had a $5,000 payout, 5 days of trading, took it to 10 grand, got $5 grand, immediately blew it, and just trying to figure out how to make that work. Because I have moments of brilliance, like, and then moments where I just am clicking buttons because it's free, and worst case scenario, if I blow it, I just start all over. But I'm almost there, I feel like.
You're trying to look for, oh my God, I can't draw, but you're trying to look for this. This area-ish for a trim, 558.27, which is, your stuff will be pretty far deep in the money by then. You can always trim before that. But
what were the calls you did?
I did the 557 calls, 0 DTE for 2.27. I kept the sizing low. I'm ideally looking for a back test all the way up to 558.89. But it's possible that we just test 558 and reject. So I would trim there and pull stops up. Basically, I'm hoping that this zone holds on the hourly. And I've sized where I'm risking the whole thing. So if you want to use stops, then you could probably stop out at an hourly close below 555.55. Or just any move below that you can stop out if you want to be really conservative. But I've sized that I'm willing to let it go to 0. Not trimming yet, personally. I'll go for that 558. Okay, I'll take a little trim. Just trim 1/3. At 2.76. At this point, if you want, you can pull your stops up. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't care if I don't, at this point at least, I don't care if the other 2/3 goes into drawdown. But you could always move your stops to break even if you want to protect the rest of your capital. I'm looking for a test for the 558 area to take another trim, but right now I'm holding 2/3.
It's kind of fun putting it up on the thing.
Oh, whoa. How did that come out? Oh, you put that?
I put it in there.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
It sucked it out of your words, AI. That'd be cool.
Incoming Canada PM Carney, we are ready to sit down with the U.S. government and Trump to discuss tariffs of trade. Yeah, man, tariff headlines every day. I think the real moves are only going to happen once they finalize stuff. Like if there's an actual headline saying Trump is truly taking tariffs off the table, that's when they're truly going to get priced out, because we've seen so many headlines go back and forth now about them getting delayed, but then coming right back, then going live. Oh, tomorrow they're going live. That I think the market's kind of lost faith in a lot of these headlines.
Look at that. Look at me. So in both StanzieBenz's Discord and TradeBeacon, there's a channel called Newsfeed, and that's free. If you go in there and you're not a member, you can still see it, and it just sucks in the tweets from Financial Juice. So it's like if you're like, "What happened? Why is the market moving?" You just go in Newsfeed and you can see that.
Yeah, that's pretty useful versus having to go look for news.
I'm gonna go for like another half an hour.
Yeah, sure.
The fuck was that? I love random price alerts. Bing. Okay, thank you. It's just, I mean, honestly, it's just like the worst.
What?
The worst time. Just this market right now. It's just so crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Spies.
Like I wish. Yeah.
What was it much? Okay, yeah. So it has broken below Monday's low, or sorry, that Monday's low, the wick. You don't want to see the hourly close below this. That would be a stop if you decided to hold and want to use stops on the rest of the position. Hourly did hold it barely. I still have 2/3 of my position. I did not put the stop in. I didn't move my stops to break even. So I'm riding those for now. But yeah, it's not good that we lost this zone on the hourly. We want to see this reclaimed now.
That's fun.
Take it.
Oh,
really quick.
Yeah. What do you? Thanks, Sangram. What do you look for to recognize the market bottoming?
What do you look for to recognize the market bottoming? Well, if you want to look for extremes, if you want to kind of stab the bottom, which we're seeing extremes on pretty much everything. If you want confirmation, you're going to need to use levels. So like I said, the 5800 ES level, which seems pretty far right now, and it is far. If you want like a confirmed, safer entry and you're okay missing a possible couple hundred points of rip, then you want the daily to close above that, in my opinion. Levels are honestly the best way to do confirmed bottoms. Like you see a level lost and then you see a higher level reclaimed, it will help confirm that a bottom has been put in. And then, yeah, like I said, extremes. You want to see extremes reverse. So we have RSI at extremes, the fear of extremes. We have VIX ratio, that levels that have led to bounces every single time. So stuff like that is what kind of indicates to me that a bottom is near. The only way to confirm it, like truly confirm it, nothing is 100% confirmed, but to truly like safely confirm it, you want a reclaim. That 580-ish level on SPY, 5800 on ES. Keeping an eye on gold too. I'm looking to short it eventually. We had a short which we made money on, but I closed it before CPI. Gold has been paying pretty well for the past several weeks. I feel like gold needs to eventually retest the 2900 level. I'm waiting a bit to possibly reshort this.
Jesus. Sound like a fucking squirrel trying to get into the house. Keyboard so loud.
Go back to SPY. Not good. Not looking good right now. Yeah, maybe going for this 554.32 retest. Just gonna set some alerts gold since I'm not watching both. should be adding a short now, to be honest.
Just a fucking bear flag, man.
See yield coming down in parallel. Yeah, like I was mentioning before, we want to see yield turn back up. This just tells me there is not confidence in the economy right now.
Any other questions from you fools? In times like these, just don't blow your load.
Yeah.
Chillax.
Yeah, I mean, we said in the beginning of the stream, CPI size down, and then for your long-term portfolio, just don't be over leveraged. Keep your sizing controlled. Stay calm. If you are sitting on cash, I would definitely be accumulating good companies here. Just regular shares. I feel like tech is so oversold. Stuff like Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, or just Amazon are just so cheap right now. But yeah, just regular shares. This is not a place to be adding a bunch of leverage, in my opinion. Don't try to time this by adding a bunch of leverage. Wait on a reclaim to really tack on leverage. And if you're super over leveraged right now, you can, if you're shitting your pants, you can do what I suggested earlier. Take a loss on some of that leverage and add it back once we reclaim 5,800. Yes, 580 SPY. It'll help you sleep better at night, even though it might feel bad to do it right now. On SPY to get bullish again, you want the hourly back above 557.05, and you want some sort of bullish tick at least. Trend is again, it had flashed bullish for a little bit, I think, on ES. I think it's probably back again to bearish. Yep. So ideally you want that back to bullish too. There's just a lot of bearish signs right now. So any longs that you're stabbing or taking should be pretty low sized. CPI was bullish though. I'm not gonna like walk that back. I looked through it. My explanation is that people are still afraid of the impact of tariffs on the coming prints, but we saw housing cool down a lot. Yeah, like it looked good. It looked exactly like I'd predicted. It's what I wanted. Market's still not happy though, not yet at least. I will be right back. I need to take a phone call. So I'm muting myself, hopefully. Yeah, be right back. I'm back. Do you trade L2 at all? One of my main follows just calls for 556.33 and 557.4. Yeah, I mean, I keep an eye on tape. It doesn't look good right now. But yeah, I mean, I also keep an eye on the order book to see where the bigger orders are. There is a good amount of support down here. I'm not sure what they're seeing for those levels. 556. Yeah, I mainly watch it to kind of get an idea of how the flow is, like if it's a bearish looking tape, bullish looking tape, and where the major orders are. The major levels tend to align with where my zones are. 556.3, yeah, I could see a retest of that. 0.55, yeah, 0.33, 557, 0.4. Yeah, I mean, I could see those levels. That's basically what we want to reclaim. Once we get back above there, we don't want to reject off there. That's what I'm trying to see. Because either could happen. If there's sellers sitting there, they could just retest the zone and dump it back down. If it gets reclaimed, you get buyers that'll show up at those levels, in my opinion, and it should hold for a continued move higher on a retest. I'm probably going to start adding some short gold exposure in a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird. It's like if I take my headphones off, it like goes away. I need to figure out how to do it.
Sending this to someone. Sorry. Are you talking? Oh, you sent this like 5 minutes ago.
I know. Sorry. Well, I came back. You probably were like, "All right, I'm gonna
Yeah, I had
go take a shit."
muted.
Then
I
you
was
came
on
back.
it.
Then I came back and I was just like, music. My bad. Did you see that video I sent you? The day in the life of the 27-year-old multimillionaire prop trader.
No. Where did you send me?
It did last night in the thick of it. It's that SMB Capital. I really like their stuff, and it's like you basically. The guy kind of looks like you.
Oh,
And he
it
works
did.
at yeah, and he's looking at it's like a prop, like an actual prop firm where he's trading their money, and he's just like locked in. He's not trading on his phone. He's definitely like sitting with like a million screens, and they're all kind of like Wall Street style. It made me just look at that and be like, damn, I need to be not trading around my kids on my phone, driving. What am I doing?
All right, so we're probably going to get a retest of this zone pretty soon. If and when we do, you're going to have two possibilities. If you see like a 10-minute candle, test it and close below the zone, it's an opportunity to short down, right back down to this 554 level. I'd obviously prefer that we reclaim, retest, and go back to my 559 area that I'm trying to target. Just an FYI, if we test it, those are the two things that you would look for. If you moved your stops to break even after the trim, you could take one of these two trades. The entries would be at the circled spots, and I would use 10-minute candles to confirm those retests and holds. So short here, long here. Stops being on the other side of the zone on the entries. We're seeing both. I just looked at net flow, and calls are shooting up, but puts are also very elevated. So I guess no real big edge there, but it's not. Calls aren't in the gutter, at least, which is good to see. There are people still accumulating calls here, betting on the market to go up.
Man, these zones, man. I mean, these zones are just straight from Stanzie's brain in the zone vault.
How many people are still here watching?
13?
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure we're not talking to ourselves.
Oh, we're not, baby. We'll just, 10 minutes, we'll be done.
Yeah, I do want to guide this trade out, but you guys know, like, if you're still in it, if you decided to hold the 2/3, you know what my targets are in case we do drop off. It is going to be around, you can make it 558 for a trim, but 558.4 and eventually the bottom of the zone, 558.9 is what you're looking for. And if you're completely flat, you trimmed and then you moved your stops up and got out, here are your possible 2 next trades. So as I said, we're retesting that zone. So if I go down to the 10-minute, zoom out a bit. Sorry, this looks really messy. So now that this 10-minute has tested it, a possible short would be you see a red candle out of the zone, close out of this zone. That would be an opportunity to take a possible short with a stop loss above the zone. A long would be a reclaim of the zone. So hourly gets back above the zone, and then the 10-minute tests the zone, and a green candle closes back out of this zone. That would be an opportunity to get back into longs. And with the same targets that I've said, the 558 to 558.4, and then 558.9. So just giving that in case we drop off before I can close this trade or get into another trade.
I mean, that's a loaded question. What I would do, what I do on a daily basis, is I long when
you want to repeat the question before you.
Oh, well, it says on the screen. What's your go-to strategy in TradeBeacon for day traders who take trades manually and in the profits? First class has a win rate of 70%. I can tell you what has a win rate of a lot less than 70% would be trying to constantly long when the background is red. So using TrendBot specifically, adding in with zones, but just TrendBot without the zones. You just wait for it to be green. I don't like shorting. I'm not a shorting type person. So,
and
this
that
is like
doesn't mean
this is weird, but like
that doesn't mean you guys shouldn't short just because he doesn't like to short. I also don't.
no, I mean just short.
Just know.
You used to be. Oh, that's all you ever
Yeah,
did.
like statistic. Like I used to be a huge shorter. It's just the reason that I've gotten so long biased is because all the stuff I'm seeing, it's like it just doesn't like price action wise. Yes, it's time to short right now. Like price action is atrocious, but the reason is like here's a statistical fact: like the market's going to go up 80% of the time. Okay, that's just true. 80-90% of the time. And the stuff I'm seeing, the extremes I'm seeing, is the reason I've gotten so long biased. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. That's just what it is right now, and that's why I'm so long biased. And that's another reason that Trevor. Oh shit! I said his name. I'm sorry, but that's another reason.
Everyone knows my name. Everyone knows my name. I'm on there all the time. People don't know what your name is.
Yeah.
No, my name's fine.
Yeah. So Trevor DoubleDips. Yeah, he's just found way more success being long only, and it will make it tougher in environments like this where the trend is bearish. You need to accept that and just be more careful if you're someone who wants to do longs only. But if you zoom out in the market and you look at the zoomed out picture, longs will just work more often. Like if you really increase your time frame, that's just how it is. Yeah. So I just want.
Specifically for this question, I will pretty much stay on the 5-minute time frame and using TrendBot in addition to turbo mode. So for anyone that doesn't know what turbo mode is, turbo mode shows you when the 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 1 hour are all the same color on Voodoo Juice, which is just like another indicator. So basically by watching this, I go, I'm going to wait for, this was at 3 a.m. Oh, we ripped. Oh, the background's green. I mean, like, okay, now the trend, we're on an uptrend. Now this would be the time to long if I was looking to long. This candle turns blue. Oh shit, the 5, the 10, the 1 hour are all green. I'm going to wait for a pullback and I'm entering here. I'm like 1,000% of the time. I'm just stabbing a candle here somewhere because that's probably what's going to happen. And I would say it's more than 70% of the time, we're going to go up. Not here, because this is just in the middle of the night chop action. I guess you could have had some little pullback, bought here and made 30 points or something. But these are the entry like this. I was sending this to Stanzie yesterday. Like, you just wait. This was all day. Blah, blah, blah. I guess this was fine. But like, we cross up, we bounce, and then you're done. Like, this was the move. And I have an extreme issue trying to like do this stuff. We're going to go up more. I just need like $100 more and I'll have an even $1,500 for the day. Just need it I need it to go here. Like my success has always been like a difference of 5 points. If I had the ability to just make NQ go up 5 points, I would have never lost anything because I'll be like, okay, here's my take profit. It's right here. And nope. And then liquidated. So like finding some sort of strategy for me, this is what it is. Just longing when it's green, shorting when it's red. I'll wait for it to turn green and for it to bounce, retest, and then be done. Here, you're done. That's it. And you wait for the next one. Because in these moments, I am just like entering, exiting. All of a sudden, I look at my profit and loss. I made $1,000 in profit. And I'm like, damn. But when I'm just messing around in the middle of the night, like this type of price action will take years off of your life. And you're watching it at 2 a.m.
Quickly. So I'm going down to, we're green on those contracts. So I went down to just a single now. So instead of 2/3, I have 1/3 at 2 sorry, the price is a little worse now, but I got it at 2.33. It's at 2.27, which was the entry. So yeah, I'm just de-risking a bit on this zone retest. I'm not saying it's going to reject, or I don't know yet. I feel like if a 10-minute candle then rejects the zone and closes out of it, there's a better chance of it going back down to the 554.3 area. But I did just de-risk in profit. So I'm down to just a single contract, which I'm okay holding to 0, or potentially going back up to 558.9. All right, yeah, sorry, just updating. And also, I added small gold shorts at 2932, I think. 2931. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Let me share mine again. Come on. Like the safer entry here is we come up, the background turns green, we reject here, come down, bounce. All the best entries for long and short, it's either going to be a inverse head and shoulders, or it's going to be a head and shoulders. A lot of upside down penises over here. But that would be the safe entry. If you weren't in already, and if you were in already, like here, like I would be exiting, like here's where you exit on this little part of it.
Wait, did you see a tariff headline someone just sent me? This, it's today's timestamp. Wait, I don't see it under financial juice. I don't know, it must be. Imposes sweeping 25% steel and aluminum tariffs. Canada and Europe swiftly retaliate. Came out. This must be, they must have just released it late. Came out like 20 minutes ago. Yeah, it has to be late. We would have dropped if it was the new tariffs. Where's SPY at? Okay, I still have 1/3. Gonna hold that.
That's what I'd be looking for.
Yeah, that's about right. You want above that zone and a retest to hold. That would,
and you'd sell.
Yeah, close to there. It doesn't. So if you go left a little, you see where that. I don't know how to show it on your chart. Like around 19,700 point something. You see that rejection, right? Yeah, right there. Like 19,720 ish. That would be another spot to trim. We could reject off that level. And that kind of lines up with where I have that first trim level on SPY too, or it should at least.
Like I use MACD as well, which I think gets a bad rap, but we were in another Discord where they would talk about like MACD, like kissing. They'd say kissing. So they say like the 5 minutes kissing, aka like these lines are about to cross up, like they're almost touching on the 5 minute. So like at this moment, I wouldn't enter here, but it's like you can see that MACD is about to cross up. So I would be looking for some sort of like rejection down sort of here and then back up. I always call it like a sucker put entry, where like if MACD is like aggressively curling up and then it does the same sort of move down, like in an in like an aggressive way.
All right, so you're looking for 558. If you're conservative, you can. I wish I actually didn't trim that. I only have one contract, so Yeah, I'll just take the win here. 2.83. So I got close enough to the 558 that I pointed out. So I've taken the win. God, everything's delayed now because I'm also talking. So I have to send it here.
Just say it as you're typing.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work while I'm typing. Okay. Yeah, so
It doesn't work while you're typing? I thought it didn't work at all.
both. Okay. I'm flat. I do think we're going to retest this upper zone, though. If I had 2 contracts left, I would have held one. And at that point, I would have moved my stops up to break even because we've hit our first target, essentially, 558 to 558.4. So now, if you go on the 10-minute, you have a potentially re-entry if you see a 10-minute candle hit this zone and then close above it. That could be a wick, which closes out of it, or a red candle, which closes inside the zone, and then a green candle that closes above it. I would keep it on the 10-minute. And if you get that confirmation, it's another long attempt that you could take. And same rules, you can, if you want to stop, you can have it right below the zone. In this environment, I've been doing options just because of the volatility. It's harder to have tight stops on futures positions just because they get blown out and then price goes your way. I just feel like at least right now it's easier to do options where you can kind of put in the amount you're willing to lose right up front and then hold it. And obviously if shit gets really bad, you can stop that out. Like if it clearly invalidates, then sure, use your stop. But with Trump out there, honestly, it's really hard to use tight stops right now. I think most people would be better off just doing options and risking the amount they're willing to lose. And that would probably mean sizing down, but that's just how it is. That's okay. So yeah, so now we could either retest this zone straight or come back, hold this, which would be healthier, hold this retest, and then hit this zone. Retesting the zone straight creates a higher probability of a rejection up there. But if we grab liquidity again at this support zone, then I think it'll make it much easier to reclaim even this zone up here. But yeah, so I'm flat for now. I might, whoa, my screen went black. What the hell? Okay. I'm flat for now. If it retests this zone and closes back above, I might take another entry. But I think we're ending the stream pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
How many people watching?
11.
Okay, not bad. It's 11 more than I thought that would be here, so that's good. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Did you answer that last question about the New York trading hours?
What's the question? Oh, I mean, yeah. I have a very conflicting ideas about it. I found that in the middle of the night, it moves a lot slower. So you have more time to think and you have more time to not get fucked if you oversize. But also it's the middle of the night and you need to go to bed and if you have kids and all that stuff. So I think like during cash hours, everything moves a lot faster, where if the setup is super clean and you are sized appropriately, you'll do your trade in like 2 seconds. Like my biggest day when I had this 5K payout, granted, I just blew an account like 3 minutes before, but I made $5,600 in probably 12 minutes because it was just like, it died, it ripped up, I rode that up, I got out, it came back down to retest, I longed there, and I was just like long out, and it was like done. So from if your setup presents itself, you are better off trading during the day because you're in and out and it's done. If your setup does not present itself and you go to be stupid during the day and click buttons because you're bored, you'll get fucked. That's what I've been wrestling with. of going, I'm going along because I have $5,000 of drawdown. This is fun. And then all of a sudden, we die 300 points, and you're just like, wow, that was not fun at all. I should have just waited. When your setup happens, you can make a lot of money very, very quickly, and it's worth waiting for. And that's something that I'm still figuring out and still wrestling with. And every other day I'm like, I need to just take a break. This is dumb. And I'll get back into it, and I'll have 5 great days in a row. And maybe they were just 5 bullish days or just days, but then other days I'll look at it and they'll be incredibly horrible days, but somehow I was able to make the money and go away. So I don't know. It's just, I was being sarcastic to Stanzie when he said, "Oh, I normally don't trade CPI," and I was like, "But what if there's a trade?" Like, that is very. I was kidding, but also I'm serious. Like, but anytime I lock myself out, I'll be like, "But what if it was the perfect trade?" I've said that for 4 years, and there have been a million trades. Any day that I'm like on vacation or like with the kids or whatever, it's just like, you will not look back in time and go, man, I wish I would have made that $800 that one day. But you'll go, I wish I had my youth. I wish I had my kids when they were in 3 and 6 again. So if you find a setup that works, just wait for it to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then you don't do anything. That's the hardest thing to learn. And if you can learn that, yeah, having stops and sizing appropriately and all that stuff. But like, if you see your setup, you jump in. And if you don't see your setup, you like do the opposite. You jump out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. Anything else? Any last questions you guys have? I hope you found value in the stream today. We're gonna try to do it more often. Like, I don't mind doing this every day if I'm trading anyways and watching the markets. And I mean, hopefully you, outside of the trade that we did, I hopefully like you learned stuff from the stuff that we're telling you, like from a risk management perspective and from like just an overall view of how you should be investing and trading in this market. I just want to reiterate that it's really important to control your sizing, whether it's for intraday trades or your long-term portfolios. That's really going to make or break how you do. If you get too greedy, it's going to really bite you. And I think me, as well as DoubleDips, we've learned that early on. And that's just how it is. You can't go for too much. You have to be okay losing it all then, which I'm not okay with, and most people should not be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. All right. We'll try to stream again tomorrow, and maybe get 12 viewers tomorrow instead of 11.
Hey, we had 22 minutes.
Oh, nice. So 23 is the target for tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll post it on, we'll do Twitter live too, because you can like live stream multiple places.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Take care.